The manila envelope slips from Ronan's hand. It hits the polished courtroom floor with a sound that shouldn't matter, but somehow does. Every head turns. Cameras flash. The judge's gavel freezes midair. Ronan Hale stands in the center aisle, wearing yellow rubber gloves and a janitor's uniform with his name stitched crooked across the chest. He wasn't supposed to be here. He was delivering maintenance paperwork to the third floor. But the doors were open, and he heard screaming. Not the angry kind. The breaking kind. At the defense table, Aurelia Dane sits alone. Her white blazer is wrinkled. Her hands shake against the wood. The woman who runs Stratix Global, who has her face on Forbes covers and her signature on billion-dollar contracts, looks smaller than Ronan has ever seen her. The lawyer's chair beside her is empty. "Miss Dane," the judge says, voice sharp as broken glass. "Where is your representation?" Aurelia opens her mouth. Nothing comes out. A reporter in the gallery whispers too loud. "She's finished." Ronan bends down, picks up the envelope. His fingers leave smudges on the paper. He notices a coffee stain on the corner. His coffee, from this morning, the same breakfast he had with his daughter Nara before dropping her at daycare. Toast, scrambled eggs, orange juice she spilled on his sleeve, but he's not thinking about breakfast anymore. He's thinking about the courthouse steps 2 months ago when he fought alone to prove the hospital killed his wife, when lawyers in $1,000 suits laughed at the janitor who thought he deserved justice. He's thinking about Nara's face when she asks why Mommy isn't coming home. Aurelia's head drops. Her shoulders curl inward like she's trying to disappear. The judge slams the gavel. "Miss Dane, I am ordering a recess until you secure proper counsel, but I warn you, wait." Ronan's voice cracks the silence. Everyone stares. The bailiff steps forward. "Sir, you need to leave. I have evidence." Ronan lifts the envelope higher. His hand doesn't shake. Evidence that proves she's being framed. The judge leans forward. "Who are you?" Ronan swallows. His throat feels dry. The courtroom lights are too bright. He can smell sweat and expensive perfume and old wood and something metallic like fear. "My name is Ronan Hale." He takes one step closer to the bench. "I work nights at Stratix Global. I clean the offices. I empty the trash. And 2 weeks ago, I found something in the server room that wasn't supposed to be there." Aurelia's head snaps up. Her eyes meet his. For the first time since he started working at Stratix, she really sees him. The judge extends his hand. "Approach." Ronan walks forward. His boots squeak against the floor. Someone in the gallery laughs. He doesn't care. He places the envelope on the judge's bench. The judge opens it, pulls out a stack of printed access logs. His eyebrows lift. "These show unauthorized server access," Ronan says. His voice steadies. "Under credentials belonging to Cassian Rourke and Dorian Vale, the same lawyer who just walked out on her, the same half-brother trying to take her company." The courtroom erupts. Reporters shout questions. Aurelia stands, gripping the table edge. The prosecutor objects. The judge bangs the gavel 3 times. "Order." Ronan turns to leave. His part is done. He'll lose his job for this. Maybe worse. But Aurelia's voice stops him. "Wait." He looks back. Her lips move, but he can't hear the words over the noise. The judge flips through the logs again. His face hardens. He looks at the prosecutor, then at the empty defense chair, then at Ronan, standing in his janitor uniform with yellow gloves still on his hands. "Mr. Hale," the judge says slowly, "where did you get these files?" Ronan's stomach drops, because the answer to that question could put him in jail. Would you defend someone who the whole world has turned against, even if it cost you everything? Ronan's daughter was 3 days old when the hospital told him his wife wasn't waking up. The memory slams into him as the judge waits for an answer. Fluorescent lights, beeping machines, a doctor with tired eyes saying words like complications and unfortunate and did everything we could, but they hadn't. Ronan found the medication error buried in discharge notes they tried to hide, found the nurse who admitted she was forced to stay silent, found the lawyer who promised to fight, then settled for pennies and a gag order Ronan never signed. He lost his construction tech startup, paying for a case that went nowhere, lost his apartment, lost everything except the screaming baby girl who looked exactly like Maris. "Mr. Hale," the judge's voice pulls him back. "I asked you a question." Ronan's jaw tightens. "I found them during a server repair. The backup logs were corrupted, so I saved copies before wiping the drive. Standard protocol. It's not a lie." But it's not the whole truth either. The prosecutor stands. Your Honor, this man has no legal standing. He's disrupting. He has evidence, the judge interrupts, which is more than Miss Dane's attorney provided before abandoning her mid-trial. Aurelia's knees buckle. She catches herself on the chair. Ronan sees it happen, sees the exact moment her body decides it can't hold the weight anymore. He knows that moment. He lived it when the hospital administrator smiled and said, "These things happen, Mr. Hale. Medicine isn't perfect." The bailiff touches Ronan's shoulder. "Sir, you need to step back." Ronan doesn't move. She deserves a fair trial. That's all I'm saying. And what makes you qualified to determine that? The prosecutor snaps. Ronan turns, looks the man dead in the eye. Because I know what it's like when the system decides you don't matter. The words hang in the air. Aurelia stares at him. Her mouth opens slightly. The judge sets down the logs. "I'm calling a recess. Miss Dane, you have 48 hours to secure representation and respond to this evidence. Mr. Hale, you'll need to provide a formal deposition." "I will," Ronan says. The gavel slams. Reporters rush the aisle. Cameras flash. Someone shouts Aurelia's name. Security moves in. Ronan steps back, trying to disappear into the crowd. But Aurelia pushes past the bailiff. She's moving toward him. Her heels click fast against the floor. "Wait," she says again. Ronan stops, turns. Up close, she's taller than he expected. Her perfume smells like something expensive he can't name, but her eyes, red-rimmed, exhausted, look exactly like his did the night Maris died. "Why?" Aurelia whispers. "Why would you do this?" Ronan pulls off his gloves. His hands are rough, calloused, the hands of a man who scrubs floors and fixes broken things. "Because someone should," he says quietly. Her breath catches. A reporter yells from behind them. "Miss Dane, is this Janitor your new lawyer?" Aurelia flinches. Ronan sees shame flash across her face. Not because of him. Because she's falling apart in public, and the world is watching. "Go," Ronan says. "I'll handle the deposition. I don't even know you," she breathes. "You don't have to." Security pushes between them. Aurelia is pulled toward the side exit. She looks back once, just once, before disappearing through the door. Ronan stands alone in the emptying courtroom. His phone buzzes. A text from the daycare. "Nara's asking for you. Pick up by 6. He checks the time. 4:47 p.m. He has an hour and 13 minutes to get across town, give a statement to court officials, and somehow explain to his 4-year-old daughter why Daddy was on the news. Ronan heads for the exit, but a man in a gray suit blocks his path. "Mr. Hale." The man's smile doesn't reach his eyes. "We need to talk about what you think you know. What would you do if helping someone else meant risking the one person you have left?" Aurelia Dane learned to stop crying when she was 9 years old. That was the year her mother was forced out of Stratix Global by the board, led by Aurelia's father, who chose the company over his family. Her mother died 6 months later. Heart attack, the doctors said. Broken heart, Aurelia knew. She swore she'd never be that weak. Now she sits in the back of a town car, hands pressed against her knees to stop the shaking, and realizes she's exactly as fragile as the woman she spent decades trying not to become. The driver doesn't speak. The privacy screen is up. Outside, Phoenix traffic blurs past in streaks of red and white. Her phone vibrates. 32 missed calls, 14 voicemails. The board is panicking. Investors are pulling out. The press is shredding her alive. And somewhere in that courthouse, a janitor she's seen maybe twice, maybe 3 times, just saved her from complete destruction. Why? Aurelia replays the moment, his voice cutting through the chaos, his yellow gloves clutching that envelope. The way he looked at her like she was a person, not a headline. She doesn't understand it. No one helps Aurelia Dane without wanting something. Her half-brother Dorian wanted the company. Her attorney Cassian wanted power. Her investors want returns. Even her own father wanted her to be someone she wasn't, someone softer, quieter, less. But this janitor Ronan Hale asked for nothing. The car stops at a red light. Aurelia catches her reflection in the window. Her hair is falling out of its twist. Her lipstick is smudged. She looks like a stranger. Her phone rings. The board chair. She doesn't answer. Instead, she scrolls back through her messages until she finds the one from 3 weeks ago. The night Cassian convinced her to ignore the minor irregularities in the financial audit. "Trust me," he'd written. "I've handled worse." He'd been setting her up the entire time. Aurelia's stomach turns. She trusted him. She trusted all of them. The car pulls up to Stratix Tower. Photographers swarm the entrance. Security holds them back, but barely. "Miss Dane," the driver says, "should I take you to the side entrance?" Aurelia stares at the crowd, at the cameras, at the reporters shouting her name like she's a criminal. She thinks about Ronan Hale walking into that courtroom in a janitor's uniform, unafraid. "No," she says, "front entrance." She steps out of the car. The shouting intensifies. Flashes explode. Microphones thrust toward her face. "Miss Dane, is it true your lawyer abandoned you? Are you filing for bankruptcy? Did you commit fraud?" Aurelia walks forward. Her heels click against the concrete. She keeps her chin up, her face blank. Security clears a path. She reaches the glass doors. But before she steps inside, she turns back, looks directly at the nearest camera. "I have been betrayed by people I trusted," she says. Her voice doesn't shake. "But I will not be broken by lies." Then she walks inside. The lobby is empty. Everyone is either at lunch or pretending they don't work here anymore. Aurelia takes the private elevator to the executive floor. When the doors open, her assistant Kendra is waiting. "Thank God," Kendra breathes. "The board wants an emergency meeting. Legal is demanding answers." And she hesitates. "Dorian is in your office." Aurelia's blood goes cold. "Call security." "I tried. He has a warrant. Something about company records and the investigation." Aurelia moves past her. Down the hall, her office door is open. Dorian Vale sits behind her desk. Her half-brother looks exactly like their father, sharp jaw, cold eyes, the kind of smile that never means anything good. "Aurelia." He stands. "We need to discuss the transition plan. Get out of my chair. It's not your chair anymore." Dorian slides a folder across the desk. "Emergency board vote. You've been removed as CEO pending the investigation's outcome." Aurelia's vision blurs. She grips the door frame. "You did this," she whispers. "You and Cassian. You planned everything." Dorian's smile widens. "I'm just cleaning up Father's mistake. He never should have given you this company." Aurelia steps forward. Her hand curls into a fist. But her phone buzzes. An alert. "Building security. Unauthorized access attempt. Executive floor. Server room. Someone is in her files right now." When everyone you trusted becomes your enemy, who can you turn to? Ronan should be picking up Nara. Instead, he's standing in a courthouse conference room across from two lawyers who look at him like he's something stuck to their shoe. "Mr. Hale." The younger one taps his pen against a legal pad. "Let's be clear. You stole confidential corporate documents." "I saved corrupted backup files during a repair," Ronan corrects. "That's my job. Your job is to empty trash cans." Ronan's jaw tightens. "My job is building maintenance, which includes server repairs when IT is understaffed." The older lawyer leans back. "And you just happen to notice irregularities in access logs?" "I notice a lot of things people assume I'm too stupid to see." Silence. The man in the gray suit from earlier sits in the corner, watching. He hasn't said a word since they brought Ronan in here. Ronan checks his phone under the table. 5:34 p.m. Nara's daycare closes at 6. "Am I being charged with something?" Ronan asks. "That depends," the younger lawyer says, "on whether you're willing to cooperate. I already gave you the files. We need to know who else you've been working with. Who paid you to gather this evidence?" Ronan stares at him. "No one paid me. I saw something wrong, and I reported it." The lawyers exchange a glance. "Mr. Hale," the older one says carefully, "you're a single father with a young daughter. You work nights, making barely above minimum wage. And you're telling us you risked your livelihood out of the goodness of your heart?" "Yes." "Why?" Ronan thinks about Maris. About the hospital that killed her and the lawyers who let them get away with it. About holding Nara in the delivery room while his wife's body went cold. "Because sometimes doing the right thing is the only choice that matters," he says quietly. The man in the gray suit finally speaks. Noble. Stupid, but noble. Ronan turns. "Who are you?" "Someone who knows what Dorian Vale does to people who get in his way." The man stands, walks closer. "You just made yourself a target, Mr. Hale. I can handle it. Can your daughter?" Ronan's blood turns to ice. The man drops a photograph on the table. It's Nara, at the daycare, playing in the sandbox. Taken yesterday. Ronan shoots to his feet. "You stay away from her. We're not threatening you." The man's voice stays calm. We're warning you. Dorian Vale doesn't leave loose ends, and you just became a very loose end. Ronan's phone rings. Daycare number, he answers. Hello? Mr. Hale? The director sounds nervous. There's a man here asking about Nara. He says he's with Child Services, but his credentials don't match our system. And Ronan doesn't hear the rest. He's already running. The lawyers shout behind him. Security tries to stop him. Ronan shoves past them, hits the stairs, takes them 3 at a time. His truck is parked 2 blocks away. He sprints the distance, unlocks it, starts the engine. Traffic is thick. He weaves between cars, runs a red light. His heart hammers against his ribs. The daycare is 12 minutes away. Ronan makes it in 7. He slams the truck into park, runs inside. Nara sits in the director's office, coloring, safe, unharmed. The director stands quickly. Mr. Hale, the man left, but he said. Ronan drops to his knees in front of Nara, pulls her into his arms. She smells like apple juice and crayons. Daddy? Her small hand pats his back. Why are you shaking? I'm okay, baby. His voice cracks. I'm okay, but he's not. Because Dorian Vale just showed him exactly how far he's willing to go. And Ronan just realized he walked into a war he can't win alone. His phone buzzes. Unknown number, he answers. Mr. Hale. Aurelia Dane's voice is sharp, breathless. I need your help. Someone is in my building trying to destroy evidence, and I don't know who to trust. Ronan looks at Nara, at his daughter who just became collateral damage in a fight that isn't hers. He should say no, should take Nara and disappear, should protect the only family he has left. Instead, he hears himself say, Where are you? How far would you go to protect your child when the enemy knows exactly where she is? The judge takes longer than expected to read through the access logs. Every second feels like an hour. Ronan stands at the front of the courtroom, aware of every camera pointed at him, every whisper from the gallery. The prosecutor shifts his weight, adjusts his tie. He's nervous too. Finally, the judge looks up. His expression has changed, something sharper, something that makes the prosecutor stiffen. These logs, the judge says slowly, show access to sealed financial records on dates after the audit was completed, access that should have been impossible without administrative clearance. Your Honor, the prosecutor starts. The judge holds up his hand. And the credentials used belong to Cassian Rourke and Dorian Vale, both of whom have connections to this case. The courtroom erupts again, louder this time. Aurelia sways in her chair. Ronan sees her grip the table edge, knuckles white. The judge bangs his gavel. I am ordering an immediate investigation into potential evidence tampering and conspiracy. Court is in recess until further notice. The gavel slams down. Everything happens at once. Reporters rush the exits. Security blocks the aisles. The prosecutor shoves papers into his briefcase. Aurelia stands. Her legs barely hold her. Ronan starts toward her, but a hand grabs his arm. It's the bailiff. Mr. Hale, you need to come with me. Why? Judge wants to speak to you, privately. Ronan looks back at Aurelia. She's surrounded by people, reporters, court officials, someone who might be from her legal team. But she's staring at him, mouth open, eyes wide, like she can't believe what just happened. The bailiff pulls him toward the side door. Ronan follows. They walk down a narrow hallway, past closed offices, past a water fountain that drips. The bailiff opens a door. Wait here. Ronan steps inside. It's a small conference room. No windows, just a table and 4 chairs. The door closes behind him. He's alone. His phone is dead. He didn't charge it last night. Stupid. Ronan paces, checks his watch. 5:03 p.m. He's supposed to pick up Nara in less than an hour. The door opens, but it's not the judge. It's Aurelia. She closes the door behind her, leans against it. Her chest rises and falls like she just ran a marathon. They let you leave? Ronan asks. I didn't ask permission. Her voice is raw. What you did out there was just telling the truth. No. She steps closer. What you did was save my life. Ronan shakes his head. I just showed them some files. You stood up in a courtroom full of people who wanted to watch me burn, and you defended me. Her eyes shine. Why? Because it was the right thing to do. People don't do the right thing anymore. Not without a reason. Maybe I have a reason. What is it? Ronan hesitates. He thinks about Maris, about the hospital, about standing alone in a different courtroom years ago with no one on his side. I know what it's like when no one believes you, he says quietly. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Aurelia's composure cracks. Her hand covers her mouth. She turns away. Ronan gives her space, looks at the floor. My attorney walked out because my half-brother paid him to destroy me, she says. Her voice shakes. He's been sabotaging me for months, maybe years, and I was too blind to see it. You trusted him. I trusted everyone. She laughs, but it sounds like breaking glass. That's the problem. I built an empire, but I built it on people who wanted to watch it collapse. Ronan's phone buzzes. Except it's dead. Wait. Aurelia's phone. On the table. The screen lights up. Alert. Unauthorized access attempt. Executive floor. Server room. Her face goes white. Someone's in my building. Right now? She grabs the phone, pulls up the security feed. The screen shows a hallway. A figure in a dark jacket. Moving fast. That's the server room, Aurelia breathes. If they delete the backup files, everything you just proved in court disappears, Ronan finishes. They stare at each other. Aurelia's hands shake, but her voice steadies. I have to go. Now. Not alone. This isn't your fight. It became my fight the second I stepped into that courtroom. Aurelia opens her mouth, closes it, nods. They leave together. No one stops them. The courthouse is chaos, everyone focused on the media storm outside. Aurelia's driver is waiting. Black town car, tinted windows. Stratix Tower, she says as they climb in. Fast. The driver pulls away from the curb. Ronan watches the courthouse disappear behind them. His phone is still dead. He can't call the daycare, can't tell them he'll be late. But Nara's safe. The daycare doesn't close until 6. He has time. He has to have time. The car weaves through traffic. Ronan's leg bounces. Aurelia stares at her phone, pulling up security feeds, access logs, camera angles. There, she says suddenly. East stairwell. Whoever it is, they're heading to the executive floor. Can you lock them out? Not remotely. The system was designed that way on purpose. Safety measure in case of a fire. She curses under her breath, which means they planned this. The car turns onto the main boulevard. Stratix Tower rises ahead, 60 stories of glass and steel cutting into the sky. Reporters still crowd the entrance. Side entrance, Aurelia tells the driver. They pull into an underground garage. The car stops. They get out. Aurelia moves fast. Her heels click against concrete. Ronan follows. They reach a service elevator. She scans her badge. The doors open. They step inside. The doors close. The elevator rises. Ronan watches the numbers climb. 10, 20, 30. Aurelia's breathing is fast, shallow. When we get there, Ronan says, stay behind me. She looks at him. You're a janitor who grew up in South Phoenix. Trust me, I know how to handle myself. The elevator slows. 58, 59, 60. The doors open. The hallway is empty, but Ronan hears something. Footsteps. Fast. Running. He steps out first. Aurelia follows. They move down the hall, past closed offices, past a break room. The server room door is open. Aurelia's office is just beyond it. They reach the server room. Look inside. Empty. But the terminal is still logged in. Files open on the screen. Delete commands running. No, Aurelia breathes. She rushes to the keyboard, starts typing. Ronan watches the hallway, listens. A door closes somewhere. Close. Too close. He turns. Aurelia's office door just 20 feet away is slightly open. A shadow moves inside. Someone's in your office, Ronan says quietly. Aurelia looks up. Her face goes pale. They move together, slow, quiet. Ronan pushes the door open wider. A figure stands at Aurelia's desk, back turned, holding something. A folder, papers spilling onto the floor. The figure turns. Ronan's breath stops. Because standing in Aurelia's office, holding documents that shouldn't exist, is someone neither of them expected to see. Who's the one person who could destroy everything they just fought for? The woman at Aurelia's desk isn't a stranger. Kendra drops the folder. Papers scatter across the floor like snow. Her hands fly to her mouth. Miss Dane, I can explain. Aurelia moves so fast, Ronan barely sees it. She crosses the office in 4 strides, grabs Kendra by the shoulders. What are you doing in my files? I was trying to help. Kendra's voice cracks. Dorian called me. He said if I didn't get him the original audit records, he'd tell everyone about my brother. Your brother? He's undocumented. Works in the warehouse. Dorian found out somehow, and he threatened to call immigration if I didn't. She breaks into sobs. Aurelia releases her. Steps back. Her face goes blank. Ronan watches from the doorway. His instincts tell him something's off. The timing, the tears, the convenient confession. Where's Dorian now? Ronan asks. Kendra looks at him like she forgot he was there. I don't know. He just told me to get the files and leave them in the north stairwell. When? 10 minutes ago. Ronan moves to the window, looks down at the street 60 floors below. The reporters are still there. Cameras pointed at the building's entrance. But there's a van parked at the side exit. Engine running. No company logo. He's still here, Ronan says. In the building. Aurelia pulls out her phone. Calls security. Lock down all exits. No one leaves without clearance. She pauses. Listens. Her face hardens. What do you mean the system's offline? She lowers the phone. Looks at Ronan. Someone cut the security network. We're blind. Kendra backs toward the door. I should go. No. Aurelia's voice cuts like a blade. You stay exactly where you are. The elevator dings down the hall. Everyone freezes. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Coming closer. Ronan positions himself between the door and Aurelia. His heart pounds. He's not a fighter. He's a janitor who fixes things. But right now, he's all that stands between her and whoever's coming. The footsteps stop outside the office. A shadow falls across the threshold. Dorian Vale steps inside. He's holding a briefcase. Wearing a suit that probably costs more than Ronan makes in 6 months. His smile is the kind that makes you check your pockets. Aurelia. Dorian sets the briefcase on the desk. We need to talk about your future. Or rather, your lack of one. Aurelia doesn't flinch. Get out of my building. Your building? Dorian laughs. Opens the briefcase. Pulls out a document. According to the emergency board vote, this is my building now. You've been removed as CEO, effective immediately. That vote was illegal. Prove it. He slides the document across the desk. You have 24 hours to clear out your office. Security will escort you if necessary. Ronan's fists clench. She just exposed you in court. The judge ordered an investigation. Dorian finally looks at him, really looks at him, like he's noticing an insect that wandered into the room. And you're the janitor who thinks he's a hero. Dorian's smile widens. Tell me, Mr. Hale, how's your daughter? Nara, right? 4 years old? Attends Little Sprouts daycare on Camelback Road? Ronan's blood turns to ice. Cute kid, Dorian continues. Be a shame if Child Services started asking questions about your fitness as a parent. Single father, works nights, leaves his daughter with strangers, gets involved in corporate legal battles instead of focusing on his responsibilities. Ronan moves before he thinks. Crosses the office. Grabs Dorian by the collar, slams him against the wall. You stay away from her. Dorian doesn't resist. Just keeps smiling. There's the real you. Not so noble after all. Ronan. Aurelia's voice is quiet. Let him go. Ronan's hands shake. He wants to hit this man. Wants to hurt him the way he's been hurt. But Nara's face flashes in his mind. Her laugh. Her small hand in his. He releases Dorian. Steps back. Dorian straightens his tie. Smart choice. He picks up the briefcase. Looks at Kendra. You have the files? Kendra hesitates. Looks at Aurelia. Then nods. She picks up the scattered papers. Hands them to Dorian. Aurelia's face crumbles. You're really doing this. I'm doing what our father should have done years ago. Dorian heads for the door. Stops. Turns back. Oh, and Aurelia? That touching moment in court today? The janitor defending you? Already trending online. People love an underdog story. Too bad it won't save you. He leaves. The office falls silent. Kendra won't look at anyone. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Aurelia sinks into her chair. Her hands cover her face. Ronan's phone, still dead, feels heavy in his pocket. He has no way to call the daycare. No way to check on Nara. No way to know if she's safe. I have to go, he says. Aurelia looks up. Her eyes are red. I understand. No. Ronan shakes his head. I'll come back. I just need to make sure my daughter's okay, and then I'll help you figure this out. Why? Her voice breaks. You heard him. He's threatening your child. Walk away, Ronan. Save yourself. Ronan thinks about Maris. About the hospital that killed her. About every person who told him to give up, to accept it, to move on. I'm not walking away, he says. I just need 2 hours. He doesn't wait for her response, just turns and runs. The elevator takes forever. Ronan hits the button 17 times like it'll make it move faster. When the doors finally open, he sprints through the garage, finds his truck. His hands fumble with the keys. The engine starts. He peels out. Traffic is worse now. Rush hour. The sun is setting, painting the sky orange and purple. Ronan checks the clock. 6:47 p.m. The daycare closed 47 minutes ago. His stomach drops. He presses the accelerator harder. The streets blur together. He runs 2 red lights. Doesn't care. When he finally reaches the daycare, the parking lot is empty, except for one car, the director's. Ronan runs inside. The lights are dim. Most of the rooms are dark, but he hears Nara's voice, singing, off-key and perfect. He follows the sound to the back room. Nara sits at a small table, drawing. The director sits beside her, helping her color. They both look up when Ronan crashes through the door. Daddy! Nara jumps up, runs to him. Ronan drops to his knees, catches her, holds her so tight she squeaks. I'm sorry, he gasps. I'm so sorry I'm late. It's okay, the director says quietly. But Mr. Hale, we need to talk. Ronan looks up. The woman's face is serious, concerned. That man who came earlier? She hands Ronan a business card. He left this, said he'd be in touch. The card reads, Child Protective Services, Maricopa County. But the phone number is wrong, 1 digit off. Ronan's hands start shaking again. Because Dorian Vale didn't just threaten his daughter. He's already making moves to take her away. Would you sacrifice everything you believe in to protect the one person who depends on you most? The file lands on Aurelia's kitchen table with a thud. Ronan sets it down carefully, like it might explode. In a way, it already has. Nara is asleep in the next room, Aurelia's guest bedroom that's bigger than Ronan's entire apartment. She fell asleep 20 minutes after they arrived, exhausted from the daycare's extended hours and the strange house and the blonde woman who kept staring at her like she'd never seen a child before. Maybe she hasn't. Aurelia opens the file. Her hands are steadier now. After the office. After the breakdown. After watching Ronan drive away and sitting alone in her 60-story tower, realizing she had exactly 0 people left to call. This is from your wife's case? She asks quietly. Yeah. Ronan sits across from her. The kitchen is all marble and stainless steel and windows overlooking the city. It feels cold. I kept everything. Every document, every report, even the stuff my lawyer told me to throw away. Aurelia reads through the medical records, the autopsy, the settlement offer. Her jaw tightens with each page. They killed her, she says finally. They made a mistake that killed her, Ronan corrects. There's a difference, legally, not morally. He looks up, surprised. Aurelia closes the file, slides it back to him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry they got away with it. I'm sorry you had to fight alone. I didn't fight hard enough. You fought as hard as anyone could. The system was rigged against you. She pauses. Like it's rigged against me now. They sit in silence. The clock on the wall ticks. Somewhere outside, sirens wail. Ronan thinks about the business card, about Dorian's smile, about Nara sleeping in a stranger's house because his own apartment isn't safe anymore. Why did you agree to hide us? He asks. You don't even know me. You defended me in court when you had every reason to walk away. Aurelia stands, walks to the window. No one's ever done that before. Your family, my family is the reason I'm in this mess. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. My father chose money over people. My half-brother wants revenge for a childhood he thinks I stole. And my mother, her voice catches. My mother died trying to be what everyone wanted her to be. Ronan joins her at the window. The city sprawls below them. Millions of lights, millions of lives. What do you want to be? He asks. Aurelia turns, looks at him, really looks at him. I don't know anymore. Her phone buzzes. She ignores it. It buzzes again. And again. Finally, she checks it. Her face goes white. What is it? She turns the screen toward him. It's a news article, posted 10 minutes ago. The headline reads, Billionaire CEO Aurelia Dane, secret child abandoned years ago, comes forward. Below it, a photo. A teenage girl, maybe 16, brown eyes, dark hair, claiming to be Aurelia's daughter. Ronan reads the article quickly. DNA evidence, adoption records. A tearful interview where the girl says she's been searching for her mother for years. This is impossible, Aurelia breathes. I've never had a child. I've never even been pregnant. Then where did they get the DNA? I don't know. She scrolls through the article, stops. Her hand covers her mouth. The DNA test. It was done at Phoenix General Hospital. Ronan's stomach drops. That's where Maris died. They stare at each other. They're using the same playbook, Ronan says slowly. Fake documents, hospital records, making it look legitimate until you dig deeper. But DNA doesn't lie. DNA can be manipulated. Ronan pulls out his phone, opens his photo gallery, finds a picture from 3 years ago. After Maris died, I had to fight for custody of Nara. The hospital claimed there were irregularities in the paternity test, said I might not be her father. Aurelia leans closer. What happened? I paid for an independent test, proved she was mine, but the hospital's records were flagged in the system. Someone had accessed them without authorization and altered the results. Who? I never found out, but I kept the access logs. He pulls up another photo, shows her the screen. Look at the credential code. Aurelia's breath stops. That's the same format as the logs you showed in court. Exactly. Ronan zooms in. Someone at Phoenix General has been stealing medical records and DNA samples for years. And I think Dorian found whoever's doing it. Aurelia sits down heavily. So, this girl is probably real, but the DNA isn't hers, or isn't yours, or both. How do we prove it? Ronan thinks. His mind races through possibilities. Hospital security, records requests, legal channels that take months. They don't have months. We need the original samples, he says, before they were processed. Those would be destroyed by now. Not if they were part of an ongoing legal case. Ronan stands, paces. Maris's case was never fully closed. The hospital settled, but they kept the evidence in case I tried to reopen it, which means they still have her DNA on file, Aurelia finishes. And if someone stole it, there'd be a record of the theft. They look at each other. Aurelia's phone rings. Unknown number. She answers. Hello? A girl's voice. Young. Scared. Is this Aurelia Dane? Who is this? My name is Zara. The girl's voice shakes. I'm the one they're saying is your daughter. But I need you to know I never asked for this. Someone paid my foster mom to make me do the interview. They said it was for a TV show. I didn't know they were going to say you abandoned me. Aurelia's hand trembles. She puts the phone on speaker. Zara, where are you right now? I don't know. A hotel somewhere. They won't let me leave. Who won't let you leave? The man who paid for the DNA test. He said if I try to run, he'll... Her voice cuts off. Sounds of scuffling. Then a dial tone. Aurelia and Ronan stare at the phone. They're holding her hostage, Aurelia whispers. Ronan's hands curl into fists. Call the police. And tell them what? That my evil half-brother kidnapped a girl to frame me for child abandonment? Without proof? Then we get proof. How? Ronan looks at the file on the table. At Maris's medical records. At years of injustice sitting in a manila folder. We go to the hospital, he says. Tonight. And we find out exactly who's been stealing DNA and selling it to the highest bidder. Aurelia stands. That's breaking and entering. No, I still have my maintenance clearance. I worked there before Stratix. Ronan pulls out his wallet, shows her a key card. They never deactivated it after I quit. Why do you still have it? Because I always knew I'd need to go back someday. To finish what I started. They stand in the kitchen. The city lights reflect off the windows. Somewhere out there, a teenage girl is being held against her will. Somewhere out there, Dorian Vale is destroying lives because he can. Aurelia picks up her keys. Let's go. What about Nara? I'll call my housekeeper. She'll stay with her. You trust her? Aurelia pauses. Thinks. She's been with me for 8 years. If she was working for Dorian, he'd already know I was here. It's thin logic. But it's all they have. Ronan checks on Nara one more time. She's curled under blankets that probably cost more than his truck. Her small chest rises and falls. Peaceful. Safe. For now, he kisses her forehead, whispers, I'll be back soon, baby. Then he follows Aurelia out the door. The hospital is 30 minutes away. They take Aurelia's car, less conspicuous than Ronan's beat-up truck. The streets are quieter now, late enough that traffic is thinned, early enough that bars are still open. Aurelia drives fast. Her jaw is set, determined. Why did you choose to work at Stratix? She asks suddenly. After everything with your wife? After losing your company? Why that building? Ronan stares out the window. Because it was the tallest building in Phoenix, and I wanted to know what it felt like to be that high up, even if I was just the person cleaning the floors. Aurelia's hands tighten on the wheel. I'm that high up every day, and I've never felt lower. They reach the hospital. The parking lot is half full. Emergency room lights blaze bright. Ronan leads her to a side entrance, scans his card. The light turns green. They're in. The hallways are familiar. Too familiar. Ronan remembers running through them 4 years ago, following nurses, begging for information, watching his wife die while bureaucrats argued about liability. The records room is on the 3rd floor, he says quietly. They take the stairs. Avoid the elevator cameras. 3rd floor, long hallway, fluorescent lights humming. The records room is locked. Ronan tries his card. Red light. They upgraded security, he mutters. Can you bypass it? He looks at the door, at the keypad, at the magnetic lock. Maybe. Give me a minute. He kneels, examines the panel, pulls a screwdriver from his pocket. He always carries tools. Old habit. He pops off the cover, finds the wiring, traces it with his finger. Ronan, Aurelia hisses. Someone's coming. Footsteps. From around the corner. Fast. Ronan works faster, connects 2 wires. The lock clicks. He pushes the door open. They slip inside, close it quietly. The footsteps pass by, keep going. They're alone in a room full of filing cabinets, metal drawers stretching from floor to ceiling. Where do we start? Aurelia asks. Ronan moves to the computer terminal, logs in with his old credentials, prays they still work. They do. He searches for Maris's case file, finds it, but the DNA sample log shows multiple access points. Someone's been in this file a dozen times, he says. Look at the dates. Aurelia leans over his shoulder. That's 2 days after your wife died. And there, 3 months later, and, she stops, points. That's last week, right before the lawsuit against you started. They find the pattern. Every time someone sues a wealthy defendant, every time a powerful person faces legal trouble, someone accesses Phoenix General's DNA database. This isn't just about us, Aurelia breathes. This is a whole operation. Ronan pulls up the access credentials. His heart stops, because the name on the screen is someone he recognizes. Someone who was at the courthouse today. Someone who's been watching them this entire time. What happens when you discover the person you've been running from has been right beside you all along? Nara's laugh fills the kitchen. She's sitting at Aurelia's dining table, way too big for one person. Ronan realizes now, with pancakes shaped like bears. Aurelia made them herself, burned the first batch, the second batch. The third came out perfect. More syrup, Daddy, Nara demands. Ronan pours carefully. Aurelia watches from the counter. She's still in the clothes from last night. They both are. They didn't sleep. After they left the hospital, they drove straight to the police. Showed them everything. The access logs, the pattern of DNA theft, the name of the person who'd been running the operation, Dr. Patricia Holloway, Chief of Medical Records at Phoenix General, 56 years old, impeccable reputation, and Dorian Vale's cousin. The police promised to investigate, promised to find Zara, promised justice. Ronan's learned what promises are worth, but right now, watching his daughter eat pancakes in a mansion while the woman he defended in court flips more batter onto a hot griddle, he feels something he hasn't felt in 4 years. Hope, you're good at this, he tells Aurelia. She looks up, surprised, at cooking, at being here, with her. Aurelia sets down the spatula, walks to the table, sits across from Nara. I've never been around children much. You're a natural. I'm terrified. Aurelia's voice drops. What if I do something wrong? Everyone does something wrong. Ronan smiles. That's just parenting. Nara reaches across the table, grabs Aurelia's hand. You're pretty. Aurelia's eyes fill with tears. Thank you, sweetheart. Are you my daddy's friend? Aurelia looks at Ronan. I hope so. Nara considers this, then nods, goes back to her pancakes. Ronan's phone rings. Unknown number. He hesitates, then answers. Hello? Mr. Hale. It's Detective Marcus Chen. The officer they spoke to last night. We found her. We found Zara. Ronan puts the phone on speaker. Where? Motel 6 off the I-10. She's safe, shaken up, but safe. We arrested 2 men holding her. They're talking. What are they saying? That Dorian Vale hired them. That Dr. Holloway provided the DNA samples. That this has been going on for 3 years. Chen pauses. Mr. Hale, you were right. About all of it. Aurelia stands, moves closer. What happens now? We're issuing warrants. For Dorian Vale, Dr. Holloway, and 3 others involved in the operation. We're also reopening every case where Phoenix General DNA evidence was used, including yours, Mr. Hale. Ronan's breath catches. Maris's case? Yes. We'll be contacting you for a formal statement. But off the record, you should talk to a lawyer about a wrongful death lawsuit. A real one this time. The call ends. Ronan stands frozen in the middle of Aurelia's kitchen. His hands shake. His eyes burn. Aurelia touches his shoulder. Ronan? They're reopening it, he whispers. They're going to investigate what really happened to Maris. That's good. That's what you wanted. I wanted it 4 years ago. His voice breaks. When it mattered. When Nara was a baby and I was fighting alone and no one believed me. But they believe you now. Because I had you. Because you gave me a platform. Because, he stops, looks at her. Because you made people listen. Aurelia shakes her head. You made them listen. I just stood there while my world fell apart. You're the one who risked everything. We both did. They stand close. Too close. Ronan can smell her shampoo, something floral he can't name. Her eyes are red from lack of sleep. She has a coffee stain on her shirt. She's never looked more human. Daddy, Nara calls. Can we go to the park? Ronan pulls back, clears his throat. Maybe later, baby. I have a park nearby, Aurelia says quickly. Private, safe, no reporters. You have a private park? It's more of a courtyard, but there's a swing set. She looks embarrassed. I had it installed years ago. Never used it. Why? Because I thought... She stops, looks at Nara. I thought maybe someday I'd have someone to push on the swings. The statement hangs in the air. Ronan understands what she's not saying, what she's lost, what she gave up building an empire. Let's go, he says. All of us. They walk through Aurelia's house, past rooms Ronan's never seen, past art he doesn't understand, past windows overlooking a city that's both beautiful and cruel. The courtyard is behind the house. Grass, trees, a fountain, and yes, a swing set. Brand new. The price tags are still on. Nara runs straight for it. Ronan follows, lifts her onto the seat, pushes gently. Aurelia watches from the patio. Higher, Daddy. Ronan pushes harder. Nara screams with delight. Her hair flies back. Her laugh echoes off the walls. Aurelia sits on a bench, pulls out her phone, checks the news. Her face changes. Ronan, she calls. You need to see this. He slows the swing, walks over. Nara follows, holding his hand. Aurelia turns the screen toward him. Breaking. Dorian Vale, arrested. Conspiracy charges. DNA fraud ring exposed. Below it, another headline. Aurelia Dane vindicated. Board votes to reinstate CEO position. And another, Janitor dad who saved billionaire CEO becomes internet hero. There's a photo. From the courthouse. Ronan in his uniform. Aurelia behind him. The moment he stepped forward, Ronan's chest tightens. I didn't do it to be a hero. I know. Aurelia stands. But you are one anyway. Her phone rings. She answers. Listens. Her expression shifts. Surprised. Hopeful. She hangs up. Looks at Ronan. That was my lawyer. The real one. The board wants to offer you a position. What kind of position? Director of Operations. 6-figure salary. Full benefits. Office on the executive floor. Ronan stares at her. I'm a janitor. You're the person who exposed corruption in one of the largest companies in Phoenix. You have integrity, vision, courage. She pauses. Those aren't things I can train someone to have. I don't know anything about running operations. You'll learn. I'll teach you. Nara tugs his hand. Daddy, what does that mean? Ronan kneels down, looks at his daughter, at her brown eyes and bright smile and complete trust that everything will be okay. It means things are going to be different, he says quietly. Better, but different. Different is good, Nara says. Teacher says change helps us grow, out of the mouths of children. Ronan looks up at Aurelia. I'll take the job. On one condition. Name it. You help me reopen Maris's case, not just investigate it. I want the hospital held accountable. I want everyone who covered it up exposed. I want justice. Aurelia doesn't hesitate. Done. She extends her hand. Ronan takes it. They shake. Formal. Professional. But something passes between them. An understanding. A connection forged in courtrooms and stolen DNA and midnight hospital break-ins. Thank you, Ronan says, for everything. Thank you for defending me when no one else would. Nara hugs Aurelia's leg. Does this mean you're staying? Aurelia looks at Ronan, questions in her eyes. Yeah, Ronan says softly. I think it does. Aurelia's phone buzzes again. She checks it. Her face goes pale. What? Ronan asks. She turns the screen toward him. It's a text. From an unknown number. You may have won this battle, but you still don't know the truth about your mother. Attached is a photo. Aurelia's mother, younger, standing in front of Stratix Global with a man Ronan doesn't recognize, but Aurelia does. Her hand covers her mouth. That's impossible, she breathes. He died 20 years ago. Who is he? Aurelia's voice shakes. My mother's attorney, the one who was supposed to protect her when the board forced her out. She zooms in on the photo. But look at the date stamp. The photo is from 6 months ago. If the dead can come back to haunt you, what other lies have been hiding in plain sight? The hospital file sits open on Ronan's kitchen table. Not Aurelia's mansion, his apartment. Small, cramped. But his? He came back yesterday, after the park. After Aurelia's phone call with the board. After everything changed, he needed to be home. Needed to be in the place where he and Mara started their life together. Nara is at daycare. Normal schedule, normal routine. Normal is good. But nothing feels normal anymore. The file contains records he wasn't supposed to see. Medical documents, consent forms, DNA collection logs, and one name that appears over and over, Ronan Hale. His DNA was stolen the night Maris died. Not just taken for hospital records, stolen, copied, logged under different case numbers, used in at least 6 separate legal proceedings over the past 4 years, including Aurelia's fake daughter case. The lab report is clear. The DNA used to create Zara's maternal match was synthesized using samples from 3 different sources. One of them was Ronan's own genetic material, meaning Dorian didn't just frame Aurelia. He violated Ronan's body, his grief, his most vulnerable moment. Ronan's hands shake as he reads. His vision blurs, not from tears, from rage. There's a knock at the door. He opens it. Aurelia stands in the hallway. She's wearing jeans, a t-shirt, no makeup, her hair in a ponytail. She looks younger, almost fragile. Can I come in? She asks. He steps aside. She enters. Looks around, takes in the small space. The toys scattered across the floor, the dishes in the sink, the photo of Maris on the wall. This was her, Aurelia says quietly. Walks to the photo, studies it. She was beautiful. She was everything. I'm sorry you lost her. Ronan doesn't respond. Can't. Aurelia sees the file on the table, sits down, reads through it. Her face hardens with each page. They used your DNA, she says finally, to create the false match. I know. Ronan, they didn't just steal evidence. They stole me. My genetic code. My identity. His voice cracks. When Nara was born, the hospital questioned paternity. Said the records didn't match. I thought it was incompetence. But it wasn't. Someone was testing to see if they could manipulate the results. And when I proved she was mine, they knew the system worked. So they used it again. On my case. And probably dozens of others. Ronan slams his fist on the table. How many people lost custody battles because of fake DNA? How many went to prison? How many lives were destroyed? Aurelia's phone rings. She answers. Listens. Her face changes. She hangs up, looks at Ronan. That was Detective Chen. They found Dr. Holloway's files. There are 83 cases over 3 years, all using manipulated DNA, all targeting specific defendants. Defendants with money, or power, or both. She pauses. Ronan, your name is on a list, a target list. From 4 years ago. What? Someone paid Dr. Holloway to access your wife's records, to flag your custody case, to make sure you'd be vulnerable if you tried to sue the hospital. Ronan's stomach drops. Who? The hospital's legal team. They wanted leverage in case you pushed the wrongful death claim. If they could question your fitness as a parent, they could pressure you into settling. But I did settle. Because you were scared. Because you were alone. Because you thought if you fought, you'd lose Nara. Aurelia's eyes fill with tears. They used your love for your daughter as a weapon against you. Ronan can't breathe, can't think. The room spins. He remembers the hospital administrator's smile, the lawyer's condescending tone, the way they made him feel small, stupid, like he was crazy for wanting answers. They weren't incompetent. They were calculating. I'm going to destroy them, Ronan says quietly. Every single person who was part of this, I'm going to make sure they never hurt anyone again. We both are, Aurelia corrects. You're not alone this time. There's another knock at the door. Harder, urgent. Ronan opens it. A woman stands there, 50s, professional, holding a badge. Mr. Hale, I'm Agent Lisa Torres, FBI. We need to talk about Dr. Patricia Holloway and the DNA fraud investigation. She's not alone. 3 other agents stand behind her. Official, armed. Ronan's heart pounds. Am I being arrested? No. Torres steps inside, looks at Aurelia. Miss Dane. Good. You're both here. That saves time. Time for what? Aurelia asks. We've been investigating Dr. Holloway for 6 months, building a case, but we didn't have enough evidence until you broke into the hospital last night and accessed those files. Ronan freezes. We didn't break in. I used my credentials. Credentials that were deactivated 18 months ago. Torres smiles slightly. You bypassed hospital security, accessed confidential medical records without authorization. Technically, that's a federal crime. We know what you were trying to prove, and you did, which is why we're not arresting you. She pulls out a folder, sets it on the table. But we need you to testify, both of you, against Dr. Holloway, Dorian Vale, and 6 others involved in the operation. Aurelia picks up the folder, opens it. Her face goes white. Cassian Rourke, my attorney, was part of this. He was the one who connected Dorian to Dr. Holloway. He's been brokering deals for 3 years. DNA evidence for hire. Want to win a custody case? Pay them. Want to frame a business partner? Pay them. Want revenge? Pay them. Ronan thinks about Maris, about holding her hand while she died, about the hospital administrator who smiled and said, "These things happen." How much did they pay to target me? He asks quietly. Torres hesitates. $25,000. That's what Maris's life was worth. $25,000. Ronan's knees give out. He sits heavily in a chair, puts his head in his hands. Aurelia kneels beside him. Ronan, get out, he says, voice flat, empty. All of you, just get out. Mr. Hale, I said, get out. Torres signals to her team. They leave. Aurelia stays. I'm not leaving you alone right now, she says firmly. Why? Ronan looks up. His eyes are dry. He's past tears. Why do you care? Because you cared about me when no one else did. Because you saw me as a person, not a headline. Because she stops, sits beside him. Because I understand what it feels like to be betrayed by everyone you trusted. They sit in silence. The apartment is quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator, the ticking clock, the sounds of life continuing when it feels like it should stop. I need to pick up Nara, Ronan says finally. She gets out in an hour. I'll drive you. You don't have to. I want to. Aurelia stands, offers her hand. Come on, let's go get your daughter. Ronan takes her hand, lets her pull him up. They leave the apartment, take Aurelia's car. The drive to the daycare is quiet. When they arrive, Nara is waiting outside with her teacher. She sees Ronan and runs. He catches her, lifts her, holds her tight. Daddy, you're squishing me. She giggles. Sorry, baby. He sets her down. Had a rough day. That's okay. She takes his hand, then grabs Aurelia's. We can make it better. Miss Aurelia can come for dinner. Ronan and Aurelia look at each other. I'd like that, Aurelia says softly. They drive back to Ronan's apartment. Aurelia helps cook. Mac and cheese from a box. Frozen vegetables. Nothing fancy, but Nara loves it. After dinner, Nara falls asleep on the couch. Ronan carries her to bed. When he comes back, Aurelia is washing dishes. You don't have to do that, he says. I want to. She rinses a plate, sets it in the rack. I never learned how to do normal things. My mother had housekeepers. My father had assistants. I built a company, but forgot how to build a life. You're building one now. She turns, looks at him. Water drips from her hands. Am I? Ronan steps closer. I think so. They stand in his tiny kitchen, close enough to touch, close enough to feel the heat between them. Aurelia's phone buzzes. She checks it. Her face goes pale. Ronan. What? She turns the screen toward him. It's a news alert. Dr. Patricia Holloway found dead in custody. Apparent suicide. But below the headline, there's a note. From the same unknown number. She knew too much. So did your wife. Be careful who you trust. Ronan's blood turns to ice. Because Dr. Holloway didn't commit suicide. She was silenced. And whoever sent that message is telling them they're next. When the truth becomes deadly, how far will you go to protect the people you love? The press conference happens 3 days later. Ronan stands at the podium, Aurelia beside him, cameras everywhere, reporters shouting questions, the FBI behind them, Agent Torres at the microphone first. She announces the arrests. Dorian Vale, Cassian Rourke, 4 hospital administrators, 6 lawyers who use the service. Dozens more under investigation. Dr. Patricia Holloway's death is ruled suspicious. Homicide investigation ongoing. But she left behind detailed records, confessions, evidence that will put people in prison for decades. Then, it's Aurelia's turn. She speaks clearly, confidently, about corporate betrayal, about fighting back, about the janitor who refused to stay silent. The crowd murmurs. Cameras flash, but their focus shifts. To Ronan. Mr. Hale, a reporter calls. What made you decide to step forward? Ronan grips the podium. His hands shake, but his voice doesn't. Because my wife died in a system that protects the powerful and crushes everyone else. Because I almost lost my daughter to that same system. Because Aurelia Dane deserved better than being destroyed by people who were supposed to protect her. Will you be pursuing legal action against Phoenix General? Yes. Against the hospital. Against everyone who covered up my wife's death. Against everyone who stole my DNA and used it to hurt other people. He pauses. And I'm establishing a legal fund. For families who can't afford to fight back. So no one has to face this alone again. The crowd erupts. Questions fly. But Ronan steps back. He's done. Aurelia takes the microphone again. Mr. Hale will be joining Stratix Global as Director of Whistleblower Protection and Corporate Ethics. His first initiative will be partnering with the FBI to identify other victims of DNA fraud. We're also funding independent audits of every hospital and lab that worked with Dr. Holloway's operation. More questions, more cameras. But Ronan doesn't hear them. He sees Nara in the back of the room, with Aurelia's housekeeper, watching her daddy on TV, smiling. That's all that matters. The press conference ends. Security escorts them out. They climb into Aurelia's car. The driver pulls away. You did good, Aurelia says quietly. I'm not a public speaker. You are now. She smiles. People are already calling you the Janitor Crusader. Ronan laughs. It feels strange. Good. That's terrible. It's catchy. She pauses. Thank you for agreeing to the position. I know it's not what you expected. Nothing about the past week is what I expected. They drive through Phoenix. The city looks different now. Less hostile. More like home. The car stops at Ronan's apartment building, but Aurelia doesn't let him get out. Wait, there's something else. She pulls out an envelope, hands it to him. The board approved this. Ronan opens it. Inside is a check, 7 figures, and a letter. Settlement for wrongful termination, emotional distress, and misuse of genetic material. On behalf of Phoenix General Hospital and affiliated parties, Ronan stares at the number. He can't process it. This is what you deserved 4 years ago. Aurelia's voice is firm. What Maris deserved. What Nara deserved. I can't accept this. You can, and you will, because you're going to use it to build something better. The legal fund, the investigation, whatever you need to make sure this never happens again. Ronan's eyes burn. He folds the check, puts it back in the envelope. I don't know how to thank you. You already did. You defended me when I had nothing left. She reaches out, takes his hand. You gave me hope. That's worth more than any amount of money. They sit in the car, hands touching, 2 people from different worlds who found each other in the wreckage. What happens now? Ronan asks. Now we rebuild. Aurelia squeezes his hand. Together. Ronan nods, opens the door, steps out, then turns back. Aurelia? Yeah? Nara wants to know if you'll come to her birthday party next month. She's turning 5. Aurelia's eyes fill with tears. I'd love that. Good, because she's already planning your outfit. Aurelia laughs. It's the first genuine laugh Ronan's heard from her. It's beautiful. He watches her car drive away, then heads inside. Nara is waiting. She runs to him. He lifts her, spins her. Her laugh fills the apartment. Daddy, are we rich now? We're okay now, baby. We're more than okay. Can we get pizza? We can get whatever you want. They order pizza, watch cartoons. Nara falls asleep in his lap. Ronan sits on his old couch in his small apartment with his daughter sleeping on his chest. Everything has changed. Everything is different. But right now, in this moment, everything is exactly right. His phone buzzes. A text from Aurelia. Thank you for believing in me. He types back, thank you for believing in both of us. Then he sets down the phone, closes his eyes, and finally, after 4 years of fighting and grief and anger and fear, Ronan Hale allows himself to rest. Because the battle isn't over. There will be trials, investigations, more fights ahead. But for the first time since Maris died, Ronan isn't fighting alone, and that makes all the difference. Days later, Ronan's doorbell rings. It's late, Nara's asleep. He opens the door carefully. An envelope sits on the doormat. No name, no return address, just a red wax seal. He picks it up, opens it. Inside is a single photograph. Aurelia's mother, the same one from the text message. But this time, there's writing on the back. Your wife didn't die by accident, and neither did she. Keep digging. Ronan's hands shake. He looks down the hallway. Empty. He closes the door, locks it, and realizes that everything they uncovered was just the beginning. This story has inspired millions. If you want more stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment below telling us about a time you stood up for what was right, even when it was hard. Your story might inspire someone else to find their courage. And remember, justice isn't just for the powerful. Sometimes, it starts with one person refusing to stay silent.